Hello, my darlings. How are you today? Happy Friday. This is an OGE spirit. Oh yeah, I'm 36. Yeah, it's older than you. And I just had my seamstress, who's also a tarot reader. I got a reading done, and she stitched up the whole thing. I had ripped it a bit ago, so that's what we've got on for today. Just like it's so old and so lovely, but it just makes me feel like myself. So I am wearing it. Today is the first day of a series that I'm going to be doing, and they are scary for my human to record because they're about me, my story, and my tale. And so, as the title states, this is about waking up post-woke. And my awakening and everything that has happened to me has gone on for many years. And it's only, it's layers and layers and layers of unpacking, and this happened because of this and this and this and this and this. But as you do this work, it's, easy to see the connections and to see when things started and the wheres and the whys and stuff like that. So I am going to, I think, just do a little bit. I've written out all the different categories, and I don't know if it's going to come out as timing or if it will be, I'm not really sure. But today is the first day of the series where this is really my story. And I want to give a full disclaimer. I'm speaking from I statements. This is what has happened to me. This is my tale. I am not going to point fingers and say this is what's happening to anyone else. Every story is individual, and everything that goes on is individual. So for certain people, this could be very triggering. For certain people, this might be very validating. Either way, it's going to be very healing for me to share my story and what has happened to me. I went very, very efficiently. My full awakening, the big time was blessed be to COVID, 2020. In 2020, I was trying on they, them pronouns. I was polyamorous, pansexual, queer. I had an IUD put in. I had been on all of these hormones since I was 12 years old. I had been in corporate. I was, thinking that I needed to boss bitch all the time, and that I was working 70 plus hours a week doing the job of 5 different people. It was just what did I say? Medical, sexual, professional, mental health, religious, spiritual. Yeah, 2020 to 2023. And so to kind of go back in the closet, but to have gone from, I was just dating men to bisexual, dating men and women, to having a polyamorous relationship, which was, I was in an exclusive polyquad, which was, I had my fiance, which was a man, and we were dating another couple. So I had my fiance, a man, girlfriend, and a boyfriend at the time, and the 4 of us were exclusive together. Now completely stepping into, and have been stepping into, my divine feminine. A lot of you've been with me from me growing out my sides. I used to shave the sides of my head, and so my hair is definitely a big representation of coming back to my feminine, coming back to my divinity, and getting my IUD removed. It took about almost a year for my period to come back, and that was the first time that I ever had a full natural period. As soon as I got my period when I was 12, I was put on birth control pills, and I was put on, they told me to take 8 Aleve every time I got my period because it was so painful. So I eventually had ulcers burned into my stomach, all these different things, all that stuff. So I'll kind of give a little bit of an overview today, and then we'll go down category by category for some of the other videos because I don't want to overwhelm anybody. But so I will introduce myself 4.5 minutes in. Hi. If we have not met, my name is Sarah. I am a healer, a starseed, a spiritual counselor, a guide. My consciousness is from a different time and space that has come down to be human to help you make sense of what's going on right now. And so I find that to be very fascinating because my awareness of my divinity is beyond clear at this point, absolutely beyond clear. Oh, I don't drink alcohol anymore as well. That's another level of the, have the tolerance of an Irish dock worker, could drink you under the fucking table, my friend. But those spirits that you ingest take over your body, and like they don't call it spirits for no reason. So I find that the clearer I become, the more I sink into my knowing and my deep wisdom, my deep, ancient, wise woman wisdom. Yeah, sorry. The past few videos that I've been doing have been very, like the Lilith video, I'm so choppy. I went back and watched it. I was like, okay, now we are going to pivot to something else. So I apologize if I'm not as boom-boom-sh in these videos. It's, you know, as aware as my consciousness is, my human avatar is like, they're about to see my story and hear how silly I was and how angry I was. It's one of the biggest things that I would really love to offer for validation is that there is an incredible amount of self-hatred and self-rage when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it. To quote one of my favorite astrologers, the Energy Boutique. I just want to plant that seed here. She's amazing. But she's Canadian. She says, we got to get down to the nitty-gritty, and it's just so good. It's so good. So, once you go, you have to go through the stages of grief when you wake up post-woke. And there is a point where you really want to blame a lot of the people that have done things to you. You want to blame the government, you want to blame your parents, you want to blame all of these people, you want to blame your doctor, you want to blame all of the people, where you can't. You're the one that made that decision. Granted, I didn't have, like, I can get mad at myself now for getting the IUD put in, because I was like, I'm not having kids, so I don't want a period. I was like, you're taking away your absolute divinity, Sarah. Your human body, your female XX chromosome body can create life. You are an infinite being. So even if you choose actively not to have children, feel how incredible it is to feel the cycles. Feel them. Feel them. So, I don't even know where to start. The rage. That's what we'll go through. The stages of grief, because you want to blame everybody. First, you want to blame the government, then you want to blame your doctors, then you want to blame the people that were around you, and then you want to blame your parents, and it's no one's fault. They did the best that they could with the tools that they had, or they were extraordinarily conscious of the fact that they were attempting to manipulate you. That's all. That's all. It's like the systems that are in place are not there to support, nurture, or nourish the light workers and the ones that shine. And so I find that a lot of, you know, from my perspective, I was labeled as anxious, depressed, all these different things. I was put into, you know, do this, do this, do this. I was put into therapy when I was so young. Thank goodness for that. I learned so much about how to like understand my empathy. But like, have any of you been in therapist's office where you made the therapist cry and they were like, how are you still standing? And you're a teenager or not even a teenager? Like, anybody? Just me? So there's a lot of anger that you experience, and that can be a fork in the road that creates a little bit of a mental health crisis for yourself. You know, especially like I'll speak for the mental health, because that was something, and I've done a video where I spoke in very intense parables. It was way earlier this year, where it's like, where's the line body modification to body decorating? Because like, as you can see, I have tattoos all over my body. I have piercings all over my body. I'm all for decorating your body. But if I had been given the opportunity, even a few years ago, or when I was a child, if I had been told like, hey, do you want to try on a penis? I'd have been like, fuck yeah, let's do that. I was just flying. I was just reading Roald Dahl books and flying around. And I'd be like, there's a BFG? I can have a penis? That sounds like fun. But even back in, 2020, I was trying on they, them pronouns. And even there's a picture of me that I had posted, I'll never forget it, where I had this buttoned all the way up. There was a little pride flag with it. And what I was going through at the time was really deep, incredible, fucked up mental health issues. I was going through parental issues. I, was going through my entire spiritual awakening, and I could not connect to my father. I could not connect to my mother in those capacities. My stepmother during that time had sexualized me, and I really had to go through all of these like gaslighting and narcissistic confused abuse and stuff like that. So there was this level of roaring pain inside of myself that had said, Sarah, no matter who you are, what you do, your parents like aren't ever gonna love you. And then there's this version of you that wants to just like receive that love. So you're like, well, you know, my father had 3 girls. He definitely wanted a boy. I'm the second. He definitely was like, had these moments of like, why the fuck couldn't you have been a boy? That's his immaturity. I was empathetic and telepathic at that time. So I'm picking up on that. So I'm thinking, well, maybe if I became a little bit more like a boy, then he'll like me and then I'll get the love that I need. But then there's the mental health stuff that comes in to say like, Sarah, it's actually 2020 and you're 33 years old and there's nothing that you can do that can go back to the time that you needed genuine, authentic love, that your inner child needed nourishment. You can't go back to the early 90s and teach your father how to love you at that time. You have to surrender, feel this pain, and accept what has happened. And accept and learn to love yourself without the validation of your parents. Like if a child is adopted, does that mean they have to go the entirety of their lives without receiving unconditional love? No, they are unconditionally lovable. They find it in themselves. So, you know, 2020, full spiritual awakening, professional, everything that I had worked for professionally had crumbled in my hand in a day. So obviously there was something wrong. The medical, getting the IUD out, polypan, professional, mental health, religious and spiritual. So this is something that is, you know, maybe I'll just use the term, it's odd for me to live in this reality being awakened, because I'm like, if you say this word, then maybe your video won't get viewed as much as possible. But it's like, I trust that this is what I'm supposed to do. So this will be somewhat conspiracy theory-esque, somewhat. I'll go back to that as well. And then I'll go back to that in the other video. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. So I grew up Catholic. Love everything about that. Loved going to my church. Like I have spoken so brazenly about like how beautiful and intense and like soul cleansing it is to be in a church and to be buckled by God, by the grace of God. There's nothing better in this world. So I'd gone through my confirmation, and you know, my high school class, we were sassy as fuck, and I'll never forget one of our confirmation teachers, he yelled at us one day because we kept questioning, and we were like, well, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. And he just literally was like, just do what it tells you to, just listen, just shut up and don't ask questions, just listen to it. And we all kind of were just like, okay, this gentleman's a little bit unhinged, but we all went through the confirmation and did our things. And after high school, I went on I didn't have the reasoning. I moved and life happened. I didn't have a church to go to. I didn't have a church that I was going to every week in the same way that I did when I was in high school. And I started traveling and doing different things, and I had kind of gone to a more spiritual place. But I had done some intense research into Jesus. I love Jesus. Joshua is one of my dearest friends. Yeshua, bless his fucking heart and soul. I love him. And one of my dearest friends, one of my super best friends on a regular basis. And I couldn't imagine losing him. My name is Sarah, and that is a very powerful, divine, feminine name. And so I did a lot of research into the original Sarah, because wherever I am on the planet, somebody always knows a Sarah. And whenever I say, hi, my name's Sarah, even if we don't speak the same language, there's this like, it's probably like having the name Joseph or Abraham. And it's so blessed and I love it. And so I am very honored to have that name. And I know it's of divine intervention that I was given that name. And so I researched into Sarah, I researched into all these different things. And one thing that really resonated with me when it came to the teachings of Jesus was that the only thing that was fully documented, like fully like reporter standing in front of JC, do you have something to say? Like, the only thing that was fully documented that he had said and was scripted in that moment was a version of the Golden Rule. Everything else was, oh, I was there when he said this. Oh, I was there when he said this. Oh, I was there when he said this. And then all manipulated, and then yada, 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 and the rest is history. And so in 2021, the beginning of 2021, I put on a minister title. So I have a minister hat, a Reiki 2 practitioner. I do, shamanic journeying and, a lot of shadow work and things like that. What did I write down? And so it's a lot of like the abilities and the capabilities that I have. I used to say, when I was woke, I used to say, like, if I had been born like a brown man somewhere else in the world, I would have been put into a very spiritual school and yada, yada, yada. My parents didn't know what to do with me, blah, 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 blah. But there's, the division of the woke culture is that you're supposed to feel so fucking bad for being white. You're supposed to feel so fucking bad. And for a long time, I didn't even want to tell people that I was a Reiki practitioner. I didn't even want to tell, I've been pulling cards since I was a girl. I've had a meditation altar in my room since I was a child. I had been practicing these types of things so, not even aware. I just, literally was a child. I was like, you're supposed to have this. You're supposed to have this. You're supposed to have this. And, now going into, the hate yourself, be a witness. Just looking at my notes right now. And so it was a lot of that manipulation. I, have referenced a friend of mine, there's so much to the religious side of things. He went to church the other day and the pastor up front was just like, if you're spiritual, you're not religious. I'm so sick of these spiritual people. And there's so much division. There's also so much to the demonic undertone that's come to be when it comes to the religion and the human beings that have taken over to manipulate the religion. And this is something, if you understand this language, you get it. I would love to be able to walk into the Catholic churches and to just go to a mass. And I have recently, I have gone to a few because I just am so cognizant of the fact that okay, don't say that. And then I'm looking around and I'm like, they're all did they understand that their teachers have been manipulated and that they're wearing red because it's a demonic undertone? And I'll butcher this a little bit, but it was something that I learned in my singing and my vocal coaching, that when the, Gregorian chants back in the day, original solfeggio frequencies, healing frequencies, this is known information, known information. When the church and the state blended together, they took away the love frequency tones from the church's chants. So that when you are vibing and you're at love frequency and you're just I can do anything, I can fly if I want to do, everyone is worthy. Once that was taken away, it was subservient. It was fear-based. It was, you need me. I am your deity. I am your guru. You are a peasant. You are less than. You are smaller. It's it was, oh, I wrote down narcissistic abuse. Yeah. Either whatever establishment that you have attached yourself to, and we'll go through them all in the series and stuff like that, it's as if you're in a narcissistic abusive relationship that maybe you're not really aware of, but you're kind of just well, as long as I'm the favorite, I won't get yelled at, so it's okay. You don't recognize that that's you're playing into that, and that's codependency, and so it's stepping into our sovereignty, which is the most important way. But so yeah, 2020, they, them, 2023, divine feminine, conservative, Trump supporting. Yeah. And I've referenced, there's a video that I put out about what is a light worker and why do they trigger me so much? Because when it comes to the actual systems, they are all broken and breaking down, in my opinion. And I support the light workers and the light warriors that are there to change and break the systems and to show that it's broken enough that we have to rebuild in our own divine ways. That's all. So hella high water, he's a light worker, and he's showing you how broken every single one of these systems are. Love him or hate him, he's alpha, he's up there. So Is there anything else that my guides would like me to share in this introductory video? The corporate, they're saying, the corporate one is probably one of the gentlest ways that a lot of people are going to have an awakening. And I don't want to call it a spiritual awakening when it comes to that. Just an awareness that you maybe have signed your name onto a company and a corporation that's demonic and doing some really nefarious activities. So, and this is something that like I still am finding the balance for, because I have been a corporate trainer and a team leader for over 10 years. Over 10 years. Yeah, over 10 years. And in my professional life, when I was, boss bitching and, like, don't need anybody, I want to take care of myself and blah, 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 blah. And it was, what did I say? Professional leadership, training teams, wise woman. So when it comes to corporate and when it comes to, and this is something that I offer with my clients, and this is one of the most important components and aspects I find to your awakening, is because it's going into a corporation that is supportive and lovely and wonderful and everybody is feeling paid and treated appropriately. Like, there's so much good work that we can all do in this world. The manipulation comes from the way that emotional, empathetic people, and I'm stepping into my divine feminine, so I'll speak for divine feminine in this case, we're not meant for the 9 to 5. We're not meant for the hustle. We are not meant for the grind. We flow with the energies of the moon, with our feminine cycles. We do incredible work and then we need rest. And then we do so much and we heal and we receive downloads and information, and then we need rest and we need to be in nature and we need to be in the sun. And it's so special being a female. It is so special to be a wise woman and to really honor that divinity and that knowing. When I was in corporate, my last corporate job, like I said, I've been doing the job of so many people, and I'd say 5 in an exasperated way, but I'd say 3. I started that job in October 2019, and went and, until March of 2020, I was being prepped to be the area director for this company and to kind of oversee a bunch of different clinics. And what I found to be one of my greatest skill sets, and it is still to this day, is the way that I make people feel. As Jim Carrey said in one of my favorite speeches in 2014, his Maharaja University of Management commencement address, totally worth your time, he had said, the way that you make people feel is the greatest currency that you will ever have on this planet. And I would have a line of 5, 6 people in front of me, and I needed to spend the upwards of 10, 15 minutes with each person. I would have to plan my pee breaks about an hour in advance. But when every person came up to my desk, they felt seen, they felt safe, they felt validated. I met them where they were, and it was an incredible blessing. But I was in a chair in a room with no windows or doors to the outside world for 72 plus hours a week, dying inside. Like, my win was on my Sunday, my day off. I could wake and bake, go do my exercises, and then literally do paperwork for hours alone. And I was vibing. I was like, this is life. This is life. This is great. This is great. I'm getting overtime. And so when you come out of that, but at the same time, this was the job that I was reprimanded for hugging too much, that I would make people uncomfortable, and it was always like, yeah, I know, kind of like a woo-woo witchy person. Yeah, she works over there. She covers the tattoos though, so she makes me feel okie dokie when I'm around her. She doesn't spew too much of a stuff on me, but it's I know a weird type of a person, and so it's great and lovely and wonderful. When I would cry and tell them that I'm not getting paid enough to pay my bills or to do things, they would just be like, okay, let's go over a budget then, dear. I'm like, I can't make less than and then more than equal enough. Like, I can't do that. They didn't care. They don't care. Remember, if you ever feel as though you are like an integral cog in a corporation, just know if you died today, they would replace you by next week. Maximum. Maybe tomorrow. So my wisdom was never acknowledged in corporate. My emotional needs were never acknowledged. If I had a period or needed anything, it was never acknowledged, ever. And so now, creating my own business, also mad at myself because I was like, you've been a healer for your whole life and you've only really been nourishing your teachings for so many years. I was like, I did not have this understanding or language, Sarah. Like, I can get so upset with myself over where my personal, professional, all the businesses, all of my things are, because then at the same time, I don't wake up every single day and check my emails and do the things and do the things and do the things. I have comments that I can respond back to. I have all of these different things that I could be doing, and I'm purposefully trying to give myself a little bit of a break to say, go outside. Go outside. No, go the fuck outside. Stop checking your phone. Turn it off. Don't do that. Because that's my danger zone. I can get addicted to work. I can get addicted to all of this, and I can get addicted to productivity and all of that. Like, I come from that realm. But I can't ever be teaching you what I've gone through, what I've experienced, how I was manipulated, how I was taken advantage of, all the things, and then say, but I'm going to go back and get a corporate job. No. What I can do as your healer, as your spiritual counselor, as your guide, is I can help you identify if what you're going through is something that's like, if your gut is going off and saying like, then you need to recognize that you're addicted to money or addicted to the title or something, and we can really unpack that and start to pull you away from that. The term that I've always loved for myself is like a corporate court jester, where like, oh, yeah, it's okay. I can help you. You're all right. I can tell you fucked up completely because I'm your court jester. Or that you've made decisions blindly based off of money and stuff like that. But I've done it. I've been there, understood, got the care package, learned my lesson, got kicked in the ass on the way out, and now I'm unraveling all of it. But as my Capricorn moon reminds me on a regular basis, nothing in this world you've gone through, unless you can learn from it, monetize it, share it with others, and help the rest of the world, help everybody out. But I am hopeful that I am not the only one. I actually know that I'm not the only one that has gone through this. So I hope that my authenticity and sharing my story can be something that maybe can be validating for you, or offer a little bit of just like, you're not alone out there. There's a lot of manipulation that's going on, and it's taking a lot of people, like so many people don't even know where to start. But this one, I'll do like all different categories broken down, and let me know what you think. Comment below. How do you feel about this? It's a really incredible journey that I've gone on, and like I said in corporate days and when I was training teams and managing, I like to be very efficient in my processes. I would always make the joke that I would get the word efficiency tattooed on my body. It's my favorite word, but it's such a long word that the process in and of itself is not efficient. So because I liked to be efficient in my processes, my awakening would be just as efficient, and everything that I've gone through happened in perfect time. I'm 36 for a reason. If I had woken up earlier than this, it's every single thing is perfect. And somebody had said to me the other day, and for some reason it was just a simple phrase and it really resonated, but there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. There's not a single thing that you've done that was a mistake. Nothing that I have done has been a mistake. And no matter how close to the devil I've ever gotten in this human life, I'm just very grateful that I never signed, said yes, got it injected. Like, I'm just very, very grateful that I've stayed within the lessons that God has taught me, and that I listen to God purely, and I invoke him in every single breath. My higher self is with me at all times. And so it's very I'm very proud of myself with where I am, and I'm proud of my human, my consciousness, my guides, my higher self. I'm so proud of sweet, precious Sarah because her skill sets, her wisdom, and her emotional breadth and maturity, and the way that I can make people feel, and the way that I can share this information with you and hopefully help you in a space. Hopefully. So we'll break it all down in different videos, but I wanted to get this one recorded and hopefully just put out to see if maybe this could be helpful for someone else on the planet. I really hope so. Don't hate yourself. Don't be mad at yourself for the decisions that you've made when you did not have this knowledge and understanding. There are no mistakes, so you did not fuck this up. We just need to pause where we are, look at what we've done, because it's only us that have been doing the things. Nobody did anything to you. You made decisions based off how people make you feel. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's no one's fault that you did something. Absolutely not. We take complete brazen personal responsibility around here, and you can say, hey, when you did that, you made me feel this way. You can say that. That's totally okay. You're allowed to say that. But you said this, and then I went and drove off of a fucking cliff, so this is your fault. My car, you need to pay for my car. You pissed me off, so I did that, and now, yeah, this is your fault. Nope. That's narcissistic abuse and gaslighting, sorry to say. Like, a very verbally abusive ex-fiance, my second ex-fiance, would say, like, you brought it out in me. If you didn't do that, I would have been nice to you. This is your fault. You made me mad. You made me yell. No. You're responsible for yourself. So, perfect timing. Oh my goodness. I love you so much. Again, my name is Sarah. I am a spiritual counselor, healer, starseed, just divine feminine. My human is very divine feminine, and it's a beautiful blessing. God-fearing woman, child of God, like, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. These last few videos have been exceptionally vulnerable, and I know that if my human is feeling a little bit of apprehension, a little fear, it means that I'm stepping into the realm that I'm meant to be stepping in. So thank you for joining me for this. Please comment your questions. My email address is always listed below to book a private call, private session. I do have a studio space in downtown Gloucester that I'm doing healings and tarot readings out of, so please reach out directly and we'll book that one-on-one. All right. I love you. I'll see you soon.